All right, welcome into the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave_BFR. I cover the Bears for SportsMockery.com. I'm joined by my good friend Ficky. You can follow him on all socials at It's Ficky Baby. You can follow the pod on all socials as well, BFR_pod. Bears win 27-16. I don't know if you want to say this feels like a win. I kind of want to get your thoughts on it, Ficky. First of all, I just want to say shout out to Cole Kmet. Career game. I mean, he was aiming at almost 200 yards. Hate that he got hurt and had to leave early, but wanted to give him some love, his flowers, because man, he's just an awesome tight end as far as his growth this season. So start the pod off with some positives. I know the Bears won, but how are you feeling, man?
We went against, we talked about this is like the 32nd ranked team defense DVOA. So in essence, it's the worst defense in the league, 31st in their pass defense. And Fields didn't shine numbers wise as much. Let's put it this way, through the air, right? I would like to see more, right? But I think there's a bigger issue than just the Fields passing, and it might be the Luke Getsy play calling. And also, right, and this is not resolving Fields from the interception he threw in the end zone, which is, you can't do that, right? Underthrew him. That was a bad ball. But if you take that away, Fields still I still wasn't blown away, not necessarily by him, but I'm like, why didn't we take advantage of this weak defense, right? Now, the running game, we did, right? I think overall as a team, I think the offense played well. The defense pretty much kept them in check, right? I think overall it was a good team win, but I think why we may not feel so excited about it is because the one question that we've talked about from week one, is Justin Fields the guy? I don't know if we felt so confident that he is. For me, it just confirmed what we already knew about him. Dude's electric when he runs. I mean, if we lose Fields, I'm gonna miss those type of plays because that man can scramble. He's getting through the tiniest of holes. I mean, that big run he had where he broke like 3 tackles, like that stuff we've always known, and we love that about Fields. But we still haven't seen that passing game. And then another thing, right? We talked about Luke Getsy, obviously Fields, but Moore was obviously out. DJ was out, injured like from the second play of the game. So he wasn't really healthy when he was in there. And then also, where is any of his other help? Other than Cole, right? Which he got in the first half. Once Cole was out of the game, I'm like, who is Fields every person he tried to pass to where he even threw a decent ball, defender was right there, or he didn't come down with the catch. And it's just again, Mooney had 2 catches maybe? I don't know. So I feel like it's just another game where all these questions about does he have enough weapons? Can Fields win the game in the fourth quarter? You know what I mean? none of that got answered. So we're kind of stuck here again being is Fields the guy or not? I don't know.
That's the big question. So Cole Kmet led the receiving room with 107 yards. He had 4 receptions, and he didn't play the second half. DJ Moore, 3 receptions for 18 yards. Roschon Johnson, 3 receptions for 16. Robert Tonyan, 1 for 14. Khalil Herbert, 1 for 9. And then you get to Darnell Mooney, and that's a problem. That's an issue. We've talked about it last pod. We've kind of talked about it all year as far as his down season, or down last 2 seasons, and to be honest. But 2 receptions for 5 yards. It's not good enough, man. But shout out to Mercedes Lewis. He's 50 years old, just got another touchdown in the league.
That was right. That was good. That play though, right there. That's a play where you're like, wow, that's the
hell of a play by Fields. Yeah, I mean, extending the play.
Oh my gosh, beautiful, bro.
Yeah, I tweeted that. Of course, there was some comments like, oh, what did he really do? But for real, I mean, the way that he extended that and then whipped the ball to Mercedes Lewis in the back of the end zone was, I like that play. It was kind of downhill from there, though. For me, Justin Fields, he was 15 to 27. For 170 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then he had almost another 100 yards on the ground. So 9 carries, 97 yards, about 10 and a half, almost 11 yards a carry. And then he had 1 touchdown as well. Crazy. He also had a 33-yard run taken off the board that really pissed me off. That phantom hold on Lucas Patrick. And Lucas Patrick, he can be bad, but to call that
wasn't.
And I'm not even we can't even bring up the play, but most Bears fans that watch this game, which it's crazy time slot. I know we talked about 3:25. It's just
why
odd.
do we have that? Yeah, 4:25 for the Eastern folks like me.
It really kind of pisses me off.
Why are we in prime time? We're not. This is 2 top 5 or bottom 5 teams in the league. Why are they in the prime time slot? NFL. What is this?
But to call that right there, and that's 33 yards taken back, and I think he had another 10 or 11 yard run that was negated for another hold. Braxton Jones went down, I think, as well. Overall, Ficky, though, just I can get into some. I'm gonna throw. I guess I'll throw some more stats out here. Khalil Herbert, I was he looked very healthy finally, which is awesome. But he had 20 carries for 112 yards, almost 6 yards a carry. And then Roshan Johnson had 37 yards on 9 carries. And then Bayless Jones Jr. had a little sweep for about 4 yards. So overall, I guess we'll start with Justin because that's the key here. We got 2 games left. The biggest question mark is the quarterback heading into the offseason, what they're going to do. Did he check the box today?
I mean, I guess it's different because my expectations were like, I want you just to go crazy, but like, did he have a bad game? No, he did what he needed to do. His first 3 drives were fantastic. They were up 21-0. So it's not like he had a bad game. He had the one bad interception after he made an amazing run, right? So I think he still checks the box, but like the fan in me and the excitement wanted him to go off like crazy, right? So I mean, I guess it's the perspective you're looking at, but I think like if I were to step back and be like, yeah, he did what he needed to do. He basically played a pretty good game from a turnover perspective, not till late, right in the fourth quarter. He made good reads. He got the ball to where he needed to. He doesn't have his 2 biggest, Cole Kmet and DJ Moore, his biggest weapons of the season. Both of them were not in the second half. So, I would say it was a check. It just wasn't like something I'm like super excited about, It wasn't like some of his other boxes that were checked. But I don't look at this objectively and go, you played a bad game, because he didn't. He made a bad play. Like that interception was bad. But let's just imagine, right? Let's say he didn't score there, which is fine. Let's say instead they just got 3 points, right? So, again, you'd be like, okay, you didn't get a touchdown there. It wasn't exciting, but we got points. We won by 10 still, right? I would still feel the same. It'd be like, yeah, you still didn't gash up this team for like 300, 400 yards, which I was expecting, right? We both said, hey, you should get like a 300-yard passing game. But thinking about basically the loss of Cole Kmet and DJ Moore, I don't care what you said. We just talked about how Darnell Mooney is non-existent. Well, that's now your wide receiver 1. That's your option 1. So in the second half, it made sense why when they started to go to passing, nobody's open. I saw a graphic they posted on, I think, was this on Fox? I can't remember, but it was Darnell Mooney's that one year he broke out, right? So it was like he had like 1,096 yards. In the past 2 seasons, he's had like 900 yards? Like that's horrible, bro. That is horrible. So, it almost how I feel about this game almost makes me think like I could go either way. Like we talk about that QB meter, right? I could look at this and go, well, maybe Caleb Williams does like that crazy yardage game, but then I could also go, man, if you got like Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors in here or Brock Bowers, Fields would go off because look what he did in the first half with his weapons. You know what I mean? So I think what you said earlier and what I said previously, and I'll stop talking here in a second, but about how it didn't really move the needle either way. Like the questions we still had are still unanswered. I think that's where I'm at. And it kind of sucks because, we only have 2 more games left for that needle to be kind of pushed drastically. So I don't know. How are you feeling about it though in his performance?
I'll be honest. I have such mixed feelings on this with Justin because you're playing the worst defense in the NFL and you throw for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I love the rushing today. 97 yards, should have been over 100 if, a couple penalties weren't called. But for me, it's like, it's just so frustrating because he does not have a lot of help at points. Like DJ Moore still does not seem healthy. He just doesn't. Like last week, you've seen it last week, but he's coming out. He's healthy enough, I guess, to play, to test it. Or, I don't feel like the coaching staff, the Bears they're not in a hunt for the division. Sure, they might be in the hunt graphic, but 5% chance of making the playoffs. So I don't feel like you'd be out there if you wasn't 90%, at least. But outside of DJ Moore, I mean, Kmet was having a great game. So perhaps this looks different if Kmet really doesn't go down and isn't able to play, because he was a mismatch for the Cardinals. He's a top 5 tight end, in my opinion. He's really making the case, just maybe even more. He's just so electric. And that play where Justin heaved it like 60 yards and Kmet came back to the ball, which Mooney needs to take some notes there because it's so frustrating. So many times, I think twice today, Mooney could have came back to the ball. And it's like he's just so lackadaisical, almost lazy with his routes and his ability to kind of finish a play.
Because that's what he used to be known for. So I'm like, is this injury based? Like, that's what I'm saying. It just feels like something.
No. I think I think the league caught up to him. And I think there's just, I don't know, man. It is such a fall off. But back again to the weapons, it's like Marvin Harrison Jr. I was watching the Vikings game with Nick Mullins, and I'm like, this Mullins obviously he didn't have a good game either. The game ended up against the Lions, ended up throwing a game-ending interception. Yeah, but before that, he just threw it up to Justin Jefferson, who made an insane catch. And I'm like, that's why you get Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion, because of a guy like that. You pair him with Justin, who has his flaws, yes. Like that throw, if he didn't make that interception, this game would feel a lot better because he's likely, like you said, they finished with points, a field goal, or perhaps he gets another touchdown, or maybe the Bears run game that was my bold prediction, I think almost came through here. I think, it did. I said 125 rushing yards or something like that.
Fields
from the back
himself.
Yeah. But all in all, it's like that interception, you take that away, you feel a lot better here. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions at worst. But for me, it's the 15 to 27, 170 yards. It's just like it's frustrating because he's under 200 now for like 3 straight games. Yeah. That's almost unacceptable in 2023. Like as far as an NFL quarterback, I know he threw. You throw in another 100 yards. That's 270 total. I don't know. It's like, is that enough? Is his passing good enough to compete for a division, to compete for the NFC?
But
I just don't know right now.
Flip side, I agree though. I agree. But then also it's like, I'm trying to make sure that we're not too much of a stat chaser in that essence, right? Like he needs 100 yards, he needs 50, but you would like to see more passing. But I still think, right, man, that you don't have like look at the first half. If you ended the game at half, you'd have been like Fields is like that's the guy, right? He literally, DJ Moore doesn't play in the second half, like at all. Like he has like 2 plays. And then in the Cole Kmet and Cole's out the whole second half too. So look, we talked about, you take on most teams, look at Patrick Mahomes right now, right? And how the Chiefs have been struggling. You take away your weapons, right? It's hard to win. It's hard to win. Like that, it's a team sport, right? So I think it'd be different if it was this, right? If the first half looked like the second half where Fields just never got it going, then I'd be like, okay, something's up. Like you're playing the worst defense. You didn't do anything. But what I saw was first half you had it going. You had your weapons. Second half you lose your weapons. Look what happens, right? Obviously, it's harder to move it down the field. You're throwing to Velus Jones on a 30-yard streak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, DJ Moore's, we talk about how highly we rank DJ Moore, top 5 wide receiver. You take that away, it's hard to then evaluate you completely, right? Now, like the interception, of course, that's on you, and I'm not arguing that. But I just think I don't feel like he did bad. I just feel like it was a game of 2 halves because of the injuries that came up, right? And so because of that, and then also they also started playing conservative in the second half. We were running the ball a whole lot more, like all the time, right? And then, which we barely talked about earlier, but like Luke Getsy, like that also doesn't help. It doesn't help when you have drives that are killed because of dumb play calls, right? Or, which I think this is the biggest thing that pisses me off with Luke Getsy is his short down yardage plays. When it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and inches, whatever it is, I'm more scared there than I am on like a 3rd and 7. Because a 3rd and 7 or a 3rd and long, I'm like, Fields could break loose and get a first. On 3rd and short or 4th and short, I'm like, Fields may not even be touching the ball. Or we're about to pull out some random ass, wild ass play that we haven't seen yet. That it'd be different if it was like when Nagy would do that, they would hit more. So like, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I see why you keep going to it because once in a while those will hit. With Getsy, they barely hit. And he keeps pulling them out. I'm like, why don't we do just the regular tush push with our quarterback who is 6'3", 220? Or I think you may have tweeted this. I saw other people tweeting this. If you're trying to evaluate this quarterback for the season, why in those game-changing moments, why would the ball not be in his hands? So either you do the safest route, which is like a sneak or like just a push up the middle, or you go the other route where you put it on your quarterback. But instead, you keep crafting these weird plays where your quarterback doesn't even touch the ball, and then we don't get the first down. This goes all the way back to what was at the Packers game week 1. There was, I think, the first drive, the third and 1 we didn't get, it became 4th and short, and then we went for it and then didn't get it either. So it's been an ongoing, obviously I think most fans know about this, but like it's been an ongoing like issue with him in these short yardage plays. So yeah, it's just I think what's tough about this game and a lot of games, there's so much blame to go around. It's hard to evaluate exactly where. It's like either Fields plays well, there's bad play calling, or the defense is bad. Or it's like the defense plays well, Fields plays bad, right? Or it's like Fields plays well, but he doesn't have his weapons. People are injured. And it's never like a perfect scenario where you can look and go, you know what? That's because Fields did it. Fields put the team on his back. He did everything he needed to. There's only been like a couple games like that. So that's why it's hard.
No, I agree with a lot of that. I see a lot of comments here. Hey, the Bears won. We should be happy. Bears won. I'm seeing a lot of that. And absolutely. I mean, it's a weird scenario because you're not playing for the playoffs. Obviously, would love to. We both, or at least I know I want to. I feel you probably feel the same way. I want the Bears to kind of end on a 3-game win streak. That'd be like 5 out of the last 7.
Especially the Packers.
Go into Lambeau. Yeah, that's a huge game right there. This is so funny. So Chicago Bears, I'm just going off from here. Running back Khalil Herbert got selected to do a post-game drug test after finishing the day with a season-high 112 rushing yards.
Of course.
Oh, that's too funny.
That's the NFL for you.
Oh man,
You have a great game, and then they just they ask you to pee in a cup. So that's how that.
I'm gonna share the little. This is from. Let's see if we can highlight it here for our Apple Spotify listeners. What I'm doing is I'm just showing he has basically a blue paper that's with some tape to his locker with a drug test. That's just too funny to me. But all in all, I don't want to be too harsh just because you're right. The Bears did win today. We haven't gotten a lot of those. Understand that. But at the same time, it's like I just expected more from the offense. And I understand people were banged up. I get that. But at the end of the day, Kyler Murray threw for like 230, 2 touchdowns. Again, some of that in garbage time. So I'm happy the Bears won. More happy, which is weird. I mean, the Packers won, really helped the Bears as far as draft odds, keeping that number 1 pick. Yeah, that was a close one. Which Tyson Bagent actually beat the Panthers, and the fact that Jordan Love was struggling like that's interesting. All in all, though, I guess outside of Justin Fields, who again, it's bittersweet. You want him to really check boxes and really make plays or make a case for him to stay and make a solid one. Because right now I just feel like it's up and down, and it doesn't help that you talked about it. Luke Getsy is making this very unclear because he's not helping Justin in some of these instances. And then also Justin has left some throws out there. But again, Mooney not coming back to the ball, DJ Moore not looking 100% like himself. All in all, I think that there's a lot more positives, but the quarterback part is still so foggy. But the Bears defense, I think, is legit. I think they have so many good pieces. I don't know. How would you say their performance was today? Like I felt like it was pretty damn strong. They had maybe some.
They didn't get as many turnovers, but like they did, they forced so many 3 and outs. I think they did a pretty good job. They had crazy. They really went on like one big play, which was the one where Justin Jones dropped back into coverage again, and James Conner got that one on in the first half.
And I benched him in fantasy, dude. Like I was like, I have a surplus of running backs, and I was like, for sure the Bears defense is going to stop the run. James Conner, not a big receiving back for the most part.
Right.
We talked about in the pregame or the preview pod. And of course, he has a receiving touchdown and
a big one too.
Anyways, yeah, big one.
But yeah, I think overall, like I think the defense did well, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not negative. Let's put this. Let me take a step back here first. I'm not negative about the game and the results. I'm happy that we won. Of course, I'm always happy about that. But these next games still don't answer the question that not even what me and Dave want to know, what Ryan Poles has to know. Because at the end of the day, right, the Packers beat the Panthers. We still have the number one pick. If we didn't have the number one pick, like let's say our pick's 8, right, Dave? I guarantee I would just walk away from this game because we know Fields is our guy moving forward. Like it'd be locked in. I'd be like, you know what? It's fine. It wasn't his best game, but he'll play better moving forward. Like, you know what I mean? The narrative about the quarterback is different when it's like, this is who we know we're going to have. We still don't know that. So we have to grade every game. It's not just like, oh, how did the team do? It's literally, how did QB1 do? Because this might be his last season as a Chicago Bear. So that's why it may feel a certain way. Of course, we're happy about the win. That's exciting. But like Dave said, it doesn't, this win, other than like teaching like a winning culture in the locker room, which is also good, it doesn't do anything from like, it's not like we're getting to the playoffs, right? So it doesn't, the win doesn't necessarily carry over other than like it teaches a winning culture. Now, I will say this though, I'm pretty impressed that this team has won 6 games. For a team last year that won 3, I predicted we'd win 7 to start the season. We're literally on pace to we could get 9, right? For me, that's a successful season. Maybe that's enough where Fields is the quarterback, but to go from 3 to 9, that's a margin of +6. There's not many teams that go +6 in a margin over one season. That doesn't happen that often. I think the record's like 8, right? So like we're definitely up there in a good area. Like this team as a whole, defense, offense, as you know, they're gelling and they're playing better. The run game's looking good. The pass block is looking better. Fields had a better year this year than last year. Defensive line is obviously improved, right? Just with Montez Sweat alone. And the defenses look great. And the same with the secondary. So I think overall, my view is like a positive viewpoint, other than like how I'm pinpointing or being nitpicky about how QB1 played today. But I think that's just because we want him to play well. So then we don't have to always worry about what we're going to do moving forward. You know what I mean?
But I think there is some positives. It's just so brutal. Like this quarterback question, you know, this topic is just so exhausting already. But at the end of the day, the Bears are in such a good spot. They're not. There's so many other fan bases that would love to be where the Bears are at right now. The questions that we have, they would love to have those just because we have the answers. We have the capital, we have the draft capital, we have the cap space. At the same time, I'm fine with either route right now that they go with. If Ryan Poles and this team, they believe that, hey, you know, Caleb Williams, Drake May, we believe we can win with this kid, that he's special and that he will be an upgrade eventually, then they gotta stick with their gut and they got to make that call, because that's going to be their legacy, at least for Ryan Poles and his staff that he's brought in. But I trust them to do that. With Justin, if they decide to go with him, stick with him, trade back, get Marvin Harrison Jr., get some weapons and build around him, so, you know, for the next year or two, I'm cool with that as well. Obviously, either decision is going to be so impactful, and it's going to be their legacy on which quarterback they decide to go with. But for me, I think with Brisker, Kyler Gordon, want to give him his flowers today. Incredible performance.
Yeah,
there was a play just before the half, or maybe it was the third quarter, where he blitzed. He had 2 linemen on the left side, 2 linemen on him. He does he gets at first he gets like locked up. He does a spin to get out of it, goes kind of parts through 2 of them, kind of fits right through these, 2 large fucking dudes, and somehow still gets the sack. Like, it was just the effort. Like, the defense plays with so much effort, and it's a testament to, like, it almost reminds me of that 2018 or 2017. It'd be like 2018 defense, because that 2018 defense was just so impressive on so many levels. Like today, they didn't get the turnovers, but the pressure, the sacks, the 3 and out consistently was just impressive.
Well, here's
also
a question
Tyreek
for you then.
Stevenson.
Well, here's a question for you then, going off of that, right? Because if you said, the defense is playing well, we got to give credit to the person who runs that defense, right? Do you think, because of how well the defense has been playing, right, as Flus as the defensive coordinator, and the fact that we've won 6 games, and the fact that we're playing better as a team, right? Because at the end of the day, we did win the game, right? We did not blow a fourth quarter lead, which I thought was going to happen, right? Because those things aren't happening and there's more positivity around this team. Does that buy Flus another year here in Chicago? Do you think I think Getsy's gone, but do you think Ryan Poles is like, yeah, I think we're going to stick with Flus, especially if we went out 9 games?
That would be 8 games.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to win 8
wins. Yeah.
8. You'd finish 8-9. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like the quarterback, question early on in the year when you asked me. Absolutely, it was such a no-brainer. But this defense that he is basically in charge of has just skyrocketed up their top 10, top 5 in some categories. They're playing so well. It's Luke Getsy that really is the question mark, and it's like he's the one that I believe was probably gone. But I don't know if they're going to bring anybody back or what's going on in regards to anything like this.
They could bring everybody back or nobody. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know. I don't even want to speculate anymore because we just don't know. We won't know until probably a couple weeks after the season. Because I don't think they're going to make the decision.
Oh, you don't think they'll do the Monday? The Black Monday?
I don't know. I feel like Poles is just going to take his sweet ass time, especially just like how just when it comes to the quarterback, conversation, the draft. I would not be shocked if they did not wait until the day of or, round 1, and 5 minutes are on the clock and then a deal's done. I think this one is going to take some time as far as off-season dominoes. And, but right now I would not be upset if Flus came back. Getsy definitely would have a problem with, but if you bring Justin back, do you bring Getsy? Do you keep that consistent for the, that'd be 3 years in a row having the same play caller, but it's like, how beneficial is that if the play caller is not that great in moments? Like I gave Luke Getsy some credit because early on he was kind of cooking. I was like, what is this? Yeah. He had some drives there and Fields, even the touchdown to Mercedes where they, faked the handoff and then faked the reversal nice. And Fields sold it very, very well. Almost Aaron Rodgers-esque a little bit there. Mm-hmm. And that was great. I mean, he had some moments, but it's similar to like Justin where he has his moments and then kind of it's just, ebbs and flows. It goes everywhere. And Justin overall, I'm not going to be hard on him because I was tough on him last week, going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, if not the best. And then you go here against Arizona, who according to the DVOA metrics, that this is the worst in the NFL. So for me, he left some throws out there. He didn't have a lot of help. It's the same story every fucking week, in my opinion. And Justin, we probably won't know exactly what he truly is until he has a legit roster around him. And so that could either happen next year in Chicago, where I think they have the pieces. If they keep him, obviously there's going to be an influx of talent on both sides, but more likely on the offense. And then if he goes to somewhere else, hopefully he does get that help, get those weapons. If he goes to Atlanta, you have Kyle Pitts, you have Bijan Robinson, and they're probably going to have, some other guys with their free agency because I think they're top 10 in cap too. So either way, it's like, I don't feel like we're not going to get that answer on Justin for another couple of years in regards to what he truly is in the NFL, because he has those special moments today where I'm like, damn, like that run where I think it was like 40 yards. What really cracks me up on that run, I tweeted it, is he kind of, after he split the defenders, and got past, down the sideline, he looks back, almost looks like he chuckles a little bit. I was just like, this guy is so fast. He is the best runner in the NFL. I know Lamar Jackson is up there, but I'm like, I don't think it's really a question as far as it goes. I think it goes Justin, then Lamar. And I don't know where he's at today because I don't know what Lamar did, but I think he still, I think, is like he was third in the NFL in rushing as far as quarterbacks go, and he played 5 less games. Yeah, that's crazy. So
pretty good. No, it's like we said, we know his skill in running is fantastic. Yeah. There's no, it's that passing, but
his passing on the run also is what I love too.
No, he's great. But you remember we talked about this last season. We'd be like, why don't you roll him out? Why won't you roll him out? Why don't you?
But they rolled him out today.
They did, and he made plays doing that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like. You gotta get and I really liked the throw to Herbert. I liked the decision.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah.
I'm talking about the one that was to pick.
Oh, I think about the rollout.
Yeah, not that one. The other one was
on third down.
But this one, I like the idea to go to Herbert in the corner because I think he was open, at least from the angle I saw on the broadcast. He was open. He just underthrew it. And Justin, for me, his deep ball is typically on point. And
was it that deep though? Because they were in the red zone, so it's probably only like a 15-yard.
It was like a 15-yard throw, but I feel like he's good at those intermediate throws too sometimes. But they also go high.
Yeah, but it's like, Josh Allen throws like 4 picks a game, right? So, or not that much. But my point is Josh Allen. The thing is though, it's less about the turnovers, but if you are if we had more confidence that you can move the ball down the field with your arm, I feel like we would be okay with the turnovers. Because honestly, from an interception standpoint, all year, he really hasn't thrown that many interceptions. Like his biggest turnovers have been fumbles, but he didn't. Yeah. He hasn't fumbled in like
fumble today.
Didn't fumble today.
What really pisses me off. This is off. I'm going to cut you off. Last week, that interception at halftime.
And they counted.
They counted. They didn't even stat correct it. It came out on Friday or Saturday from Daniel Greenberg or whatever, or wherever he got his information that they were the interception stands. And I'm just like, not that it's a big deal, but it's like, it kind of is because now that DB is going to have one extra interception. Justin is going to have now an interception on the stat. It just kind of pisses me off that the NFL continues to kind of rob him as far as some of these fucking plays or penalties that aren't called. And then, of course, that interception. But I'm just going on a tangent there. But
no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, but here's a good comment, though. This is true. He does lead the league in interceptions.
In the fourth.
I think 6 out of 7 of them are in the fourth quarter. So he leads the league in that. He doesn't have – actually, I don't know if it's 7 interceptions. I don't know how many he has. He doesn't have that many, but all of them are in the fourth quarter, which does suck, right? Because he is a turnover machine in the fourth quarter. And I actually thought, like, one of our biggest questions as well with Fields was, like, can he finish games? Right. I was like, can he finish games? And, today he did. So, like, if we go back to the original question, did he check the box? I'm kind of like, he did technically what you need him to do.
Yeah.
He just wasn't shiny and flashy. Well, from a passing standpoint. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think it's such a loaded question because I think for me personally, I'm expecting too much from him in some of these games because I'm like, I want answers. I want them now. I want that instant gratification. I just want to know, hey, is he the future? Or, hey, do we need to move on? And it's like you're on the line there, and we won't know until either Poles makes that decision or if we bring him back next year. Because we're going to find out. Either way, we're going to find out what Justin really is. We talked about it. But I want to go over something here. Okay. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever it is, go ahead and throw them in. We're going to answer a couple here. Probably won't stay too long. We want to kind of enjoy Christmas Eve with our families as well. We just want to kind of get a post-game pod out. If you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like, sub to the channel. We appreciate it. Apple, Spotify listeners, shout out to you guys. Vice versa. If you listen on YouTube, maybe go to Apple, Spotify, leave a review there. And then if you're on Apple, Spotify, check out on YouTube, see if you like it. Or at the very least, just sub, help us out. Helps channel grow. We're on the road to 3,000 subs. We're almost there. And the sport's been crazy. But this is what I want to bring up. Perhaps end of the show is Trevor Lawrence, right?
Oh, yeah. He's not been good this year.
I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, man, because like there's no talk in Jacksonville as far as moving on from him. And he has, let's see here, he has 2 games of 300+ passing yards in the season so far. And he's played a lot more games than Justin Fields. A lot more. I think like 4 more games. Right now, he has 3,736 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 89.1 passer rating, and that's a 65.5 completion percentage. Of course, he did have last year where he had 4,000+ yards passing, 4,113, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But this year, Justin, in not as many games, of course. I think he's missed 5 games so far, or 4 games.
4 games.
Justin has 1,976 yards passing. He has 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But as far as his rushing goes, this is where it kind of is a little bit more interesting because I think Justin's closing in. Let me see here. He is on 488. Is that right?
488.
Yeah,
I mean, I believe you.
That's what I have.
I mean, I
Damn.
believe you.
That's all he has. I feel like he has a lot more. Yeah, he has only one game of 100 yards rushing, which was in Detroit, but he has this one was his second, 97 yards. Anyways, I'm just saying there's a lot of talk about Justin and moving on, and I don't think that question would be there if we didn't have the number 1 overall pick
That's
locked in. But it's like there's just the difference between Trevor and Justin, how he's talked about it is just so different. And I understand Trevor had a great season last year, but it's like the struggles this year are pretty.
Here's my thing. First, the NFL is hard. The NFL is hard, right?
Oh yeah.
That's why teams
every week
to win, and every week, bro, and then every season it's hard. You know, it's even harder being a quarterback in the NFL, right? So I'm not surprised by something like that. But the last thing you said is what it is. We have the number 1 pick. If we have any pick lower than 3 or 4, I'd probably say, because you could trade up, right? Anything lower than that, nobody is let's just say we don't have that pick at all, right? It's the Panthers pick, and we just have ours at which is like 8th or 9th now. There is no talk about moving on from Fields. You would take a step back and you'd go, Fields has improved year after year. We now are winning games. Defense looks better. Let's get him more weapons. Maybe you'd probably still wanted like a new offensive coordinator, right? I think that talk would still be there, but the whole narrative is different. But since you got that shiny toy hanging in front of your face, right? You have what we call options. That's what makes this conversation so exhausting, because now that you have, what's behind door A and what's behind door B, one of them has to, what door B is. Fields behind door B has to wow you so much to not make you want to open up what's behind door A, right? It's Caleb, or maybe not, it could be Drake, right? Something's back there, but you're taking a risk on it. But if you didn't have those options, I promise you, Fields is not playing bad enough to where you're like, we need to get rid of him. That's not it. It's that Fields hasn't played great enough to where you're like, well, maybe we start over with Caleb, right? It's not really like getting rid of him because we just can't do anything with him. It's like, oh, this option might be just a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's that word temptation is basically what Poles has to deal with right now by looking at, obviously, scouting the prospects that he has. So that's why it's so exhausting, because it'd be different if it was like Mitch Trubisky, where it's like, we got to get rid of this dude. He's not doing anything. Right. And like, he's a backup. Fields 100. We literally talked about it last week about the possible draft, like what we can get in return for his value, because he's a starting quarterback. Fields is better than at least 15 quarterbacks in this league. I can promise you that. Right. He may not be top 15. Right. He might be 17, 18, but he can start. There's easily 10 plus teams that would take him in a heartbeat. So that's why it's so tough, because we're like, oh my gosh, you're not horrible. We like you as a person. We like you as the player. You are playing better, but man, have you seen Caleb Williams tape? That's what the issue is. And it's just repeat until he balls out one of these games. And we thought, expectation, like you said, that this was going to be the game he did it, and he did it, but we won. So it's kind of like, well, again, you're not the worst thing in the world. It's not like we have someone back there who, you put Mitch back there, we may not win. Like Mitch now, you know what I mean? So,
he was benched for Mason Rudolph, who kind of balled out.
Exactly. So that's my point.
George Pickens.
Fields still did the job. He still did the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can still win you games as a starting quarterback. It's just we wish his progress was further. And then we also have that first round, that number 1 overall pick, with not only a number 1 overall pick, but with air quote here, because they say it almost every year, a generational quarterback in Caleb Williams. So
no, get out of there with that generational shit. I hate it so much. It's such an annoying.
Well, they say it every year.
People are like, oh, it's that's like their argument. He's generational. How can you pass on that? It's like, get out of here. Like, there's so much more that goes into quarterback play and everything like that. Don't give me that generational tag.
It's the hardest, scouted.
Oh, it just
it's
frustrates
the hardest
me
scouted position. They miss QBs all the time. They miss QBs more than any other position. All the time. Well, look at the person who's going to win MVP this year. Brock Purdy, 7th round. Look at the first round pick from last year.
Yeah,
Bryce Young.
But he's also, good. But it's all about landscape. It's all about where you go as a quarterback too, and where does your development start. And Brock Purdy, first of all, he's a great player. He's smart. Right. He's intelligent. He's a sneaky athletic, better than I give him credit for, at least since I've been watching him. And all in all, it's like, yeah, but he has Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL, Hall of Famer, easy. Then you have Debo. You got an insane defense. You got the best play caller in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan. You got George Kittle. The fact that I just almost forgot about George Kittle, that's how good this roster is. So, I mean, shout out to them and that. Yeah. But they also did it by giving up how many picks for Trey Lance, and they're still this good. They're kind of like a cheat code. I don't know how San Francisco does it, but they got a bunch of running backs. Always have a running back, healthy, ready to get. But they are one game behind, so Carolina essentially can lock it up. So if Arizona, right, if Panthers lose next week, then it's over, right?
Yeah.
Then they locked it in.
Yeah.
So we're waiting that. But right now the Bears are 6-9.
Or if the Patriots win tonight, because they play at 8:15. Oh, they might have just started. If they win tonight, I think that also locks it in, because now it'll be a 2-game lead with 2 games left. And we would have, and I think the Panthers would have the tiebreaker. I think.
What is the Panther? Right? Who do they play? Wait, what are you talking about? The Patriots. Who they play today? They have to win today.
If they win today, I think that also pushes us up to 98%. It locks it in.
I
don't know who they play though.
Okay.
They play Sunday.
Well, I know Arizona's a big one but
they play Denver. Because Patriots are 2 right now.
Yeah, Panthers play Jacksonville. Panthers. No, they're not. No, the Cardinals are
2?
2 right now. Well, yeah, because they're 3-12. The Patriots are 3-11.
Oh, because they haven't played their game yet. Right. That's what I'm saying though. If the Patriots
and then it goes, but then it's straight.
Cardinals. Gotcha.
Then it's strength of schedule. Because right now the Cardinals they're at 564. And then the Patriots right now at 524. So we'll see.
So
it's so
fluid, to worry about
but
the Cardinals. I got you. Okay. I'm following.
Oh, easy. Yeah, both those teams really. But as long as Carolina loses next week, I think that's locked in, because then they would have to lose.
Yeah. Because they had to win. Though, but I think they had to win 2 out of 3. And so they've already lost 1. So if they lose another one, they're out. It'd be locked. Mm-hmm. So you're right.
Yeah. And then the Bears right now, they're 6-9. They are actually close to falling out of the top 10 right now. They're 8th. They have the 8th pick in the NFL draft. They are just behind so the Giants are 5-9. So, I mean,
they probably won't.
It's interesting. Again. And then the Jets are 6-9. Vegas, the Raiders are 6-8. Atlanta's 7-8. So there's a couple teams here that haven't been updated or just haven't played. So it's so fluid. It is so fluid.
We'll probably be top 10-ish. That's my guess. We'll probably be somewhere between 6 and 11, maybe, is my guess. Our own pick.
Yeah. Well, you're playing Atlanta next week, and they're kind of. We'll see. Nothing. The thing is, I have no idea with the Bears. Games they should easily win. You're up 21-0 today, and it's closer than it should be. The NFL is like that. It's a week-to-week league. Who knows what's going to happen? But we'll take it. We'll take what it is. But it looks like we have a super chat.
We do. From our boy Tito. $5 super chat says, "Merry Xmas, boys. It was fun. See Blues usual. Bear down." Merry Christmas to all of y'all. Happy holidays that everyone celebrates. But yeah, the game did seem fun. I had a friend that was there too. I got to check with him to see how that was. But yeah, I guess he does annoy me. He's not fun at times. He is not fun. It's really the short yardage we have to go to again, but that short yardage stuff, because those are so critical, because it continues a drive. It's 3rd and 4th down. Oh, that stuff is so tough to watch.
You know what's so frustrating is having to complain about the play caller every single week. You know how frustrating that
every
is?
week, every year, bro. I feel like we haven't had. I mean, we've been doing this since the Nagy era, bro.
Just go get someone that is proven. Go get someone that knows. At least Matt Nagy wasn't proven. You look at Kansas City right now, still question marks there. Luke Getsy, what was he? Was he a quarterbacks coach at Green Bay?
Yes.
Passing game coordinator, something like that. But he wasn't an OC, is what I'm trying to say here.
Because the find OC somebody,
is send him
OC
packing.
The head coach.
Getsy's out of here. If you keep Flus, keep Flus. If not, you go get a top tier guy. I heard about Mike Tomlin. I like that. Jim Harbaugh, of course. First of all, I guess we'll end the show here. Jim Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin? Ficky, if you had a choice, who would you want? That's tough, but I'd go. I'm probably leaning towards Tomlin.
I'm going Tomlin just because he's in the NFL still, and I think that'd be more realistic because I don't know if you saw, but he's offered a $10 million contract at University of Michigan right now, and then in that contract, which is weird, there's a clause that he can't even his 1 year into the contract he can't break it, which would be weird anyways because you're getting a $10 million extension. But I think he's most likely it's like 10 million, 125 million. I think he's staying in Michigan. I mean, you follow the money. Now, Tomlin, on the other hand, winning coach, literally doesn't look at the team now. He's had 3 different starting quarterbacks, and one of them is named Mitch Trubisky, and they're still above 500. He has not had a season in 19 seasons without a 500 record.
The problem is, I think it would cost a pick because he's under contract next year.
It would.
And I'm not paying a first, second. I don't even want to send a third for Tomlin.
I don't think it'd be a first.
But Sean Payton.
Did he get a first?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought he got pull that up. We pull that up.
Sean Payton.
But we'd have to trade for him, of course. And this could all be speculative. He may not happen.
Listen to this. The Saints will send Payton and the Saints will send Payton and a 2024 third-round pick to Denver in exchange for the Broncos 2023 first-round pick and second-round pick next year.
I'm good, bro.
Sean Payton. That's crazy.
I'm good, bro.
I still forget they. Oh my God.
No, I'm good. I love you. I love Tomlin, but no, I'll wait till they fire you which will never happen. But somehow he leaves. We're not.
I want to address him. So we got Luca here. Says Dave, my boy, Fields is going to stay. It makes the most sense. I'm in that boat. I really would like Justin to stay, just because then you could build so much. He's competent enough, I believe. There's still question marks. We talked about it, but I do believe he is competent enough if you build around him that he can do what kind of Brock Purdy's doing, if not more. And I just think that would make the most sense. It would probably be the most fun. I don't know. We have no idea what Caleb Williams, Drake May is. That's the hardest part here. I can't project. Obviously, they have some great college tape, but guess who else had great? Zach Wilson. Justin Fields. His tape was great. Trevor Lawrence. There's guys that are balling in college that you just don't know at this next level what's going to translate and what's not. Also, Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it.
So I was gonna. Did you? I forgot to bring this up, but someone did comment it. But did you see the pregame what Poles had on ESPN 1?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1,000. So and this is also a question here by Pam Thompson on YouTube. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, he basically quoted he needs to see the coaches finish games. But how it was kind of phrased, I was like, that makes me feel like these guys are not coming back. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think?
Yeah, let me bring it up here.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna bring.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bring it up. Let me see here.
Okay, while you do that, I'm going to answer this other question here from Luis Lewis on Twitter. He said, "Sorry if you guys already said this already, but if the season ended today, do you think Poles keeps Justin and trades down for a haul or trades Justin?" There's going to be a cop-out answer, but we kind of don't know. We're on the fence. We trust Poles with whatever route that is. But go ahead, Dave. You can bring up the quotes from Ryan Poles on ESPN.
This is an article on just sportsmarket.com. I think this is where the quote was, at least where I seen it. Ryan Poles just openly criticized Bears coaching for the first time. Pretty big deal here. So it looks like, let me see. Chicago Bears GM Ryan Poles tells ESPN 1000 pregame show the team needs to learn to finish and coaches need to clean up the details. He also said the future of GM says on ESPN 1000 the future building of this team is becoming more clear, and while your record is what it is, they can still look and learn from the close losses. Is that what you're referring to, Ficky?
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not wrong.
Man. Absolutely not. It is interesting that he kind of, Ryan Poles is smart. I feel like he is definitely going to be here at least for next couple of years. So,
oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we hang on to everything he says. Like, it's just like, it's like he probably laughs.
Well, it's because we have so many decisions coming up. You know what I mean? I just think with this offseason, which is weird because we thought last offseason was like such a big offseason. This offseason, there's so many questions. We're in a good place, but it could like these next decisions in this offseason when it comes to free agency and the draft could really shoot this team like into contention. So luckily, I think we both agree that we trust Poles. We like the moves he's done. He's helped build this team up, I think, faster than what a lot of us expected. So it should be fun. We'll see. I don't know. There's so many questions, and I have no idea what the hell is going to happen next week. Someone said prediction for next week as well. I don't know if I have that comment in here. Rob B454 prediction for next week. We play the Falcons. Man, they're trying to get a playoff spot. So not to go like into crazy details, but I feel like we could.
Are you kidding me? The Panthers are fucking playing for a playoff?
No, Falcons.
That's what I'm saying. They're playing for a playoff spot.
I think because the NFC South is.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, the Buccaneers, which Baker Mayfield's been on a tear.
Wait, no, Falcons are. I'm sorry,
Falcons are 7-8.
Oh yeah,
well, no, they're in it. It's Bucks are 8-7 in the NFC North or NFC South. Falcons are 7-8. Saints are 7-8, and then you got the Panthers 2-13. So I mean, that whole division is not locked up. They're all a game behind the Bucks.
So they're going to be trying to win. They're going to be trying to win, so they might bring their best. Yeah, but good. I mean, I can see. Yeah, absolutely. I think we can beat them, but I guess my prediction is like I don't feel super confident that that's going to be an easy dub, right? And it's not like this week, so
I'm not.
So we'll see.
I'm not certain on any of this, to be honest, man. Like I've been.
Who knows?
I'm like starting to like second guess myself with this team because I'm like today I was like, oh, they should easily put together a really good offensive showing. It's like the first half was nice. And then just like kind of slowed. They had 6 points in the second half. So for me, I'm hoping it's a fun game. We'll see what Justin and the offense can do. But man, I'm almost like ready for the offseason. I'm just like ready to get there. I want to get free agency. I want to see what coaching staff decisions are made and everything like that. But it's been a hell of a season.
It has
a lot of ups and downs.
A lot of those. A lot of those week by week, bro. I think that's the hard part. But you know what? I'll say this though. You remember the first half of the season, bro, what we were going through, man, it has been much. I don't care how we're playing now. It has been much better than those first 6 weeks, right? Like it was like a shit show. Nothing's working. Like it seemed like everything's gone. And look where we're at now. We actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. And this team is on its way to being a contending team, whether it's with Fields or with someone like Caleb Williams, Drake May, whatever it is. We're actually building the right roster. We're getting the right people in here, and we're playing better football. In our last 7? I think we have a winning record, I think, right? We're over 500 like the last 7 or something like that. Either way, like we had a streak where we weren't winning any.
There's been a lot more wins.
There you go.
And been a lot more wins.
And we doubled our record from last year. So there are positives to end on. It's a great win. We're not mad about it. Great way to have, a Christmas Eve, but still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And they're not going to be answered today. That's what I'm asking for Christmas. I need Santa to bring down the letter of what Ryan Poles is thinking on who he's going to go with in the NFL draft with that first pick. I need to know that shit pronto. So my anxiety can be lowered. Please.
A lot to be thankful for. So I guess we'll end it here. We're going on almost an hour, but again, if you guys joined us, I know it's Christmas Eve, so if you are watching, we appreciate it. But Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you have a great Christmas, great New Year. We'll be back, of course, to preview next week's game sometime in the middle of the week, probably Wednesday or Thursday, and of course, we'll recap the game next Sunday. As soon as it ends. But again, if you're in here, if you're on YouTube right now, hit that like button if you can. We appreciate it. The support has been unreal. We again, road to 3,000 subs. We'll get there hopefully soon. Lots to talk about, lots to be thankful for. But before we go, Ficky, you have anything else, man?
Enjoy the holidays, man. A holiday win, like enjoy time with the fam. Smile. It's all good. We're going places, man. We're going places.
No, absolutely. I guess we'll be on the same schedule though. I just want to make sure New Year's falls when? Is it next Monday?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
New Year's is actually next Monday. So next week we'll be on the exact same schedule.
We should be good.
I can't believe it's almost 2024. But shout out again to everyone that joined us today. The Bears win. Lots to be excited about in the future. I know it can kind of get exhausting as far as the quarterback situation, but the Bears are in such a good spot. So many teams, so many fans would love to be here. So we appreciate it.
It could always be worse.
Yes.
It can always be worse.
But we will be back to, like I said, Wednesday or Thursday, preview the Bears versus Falcons. Maybe talk about a little bit of Ryan Pace and what he's doing over there. I'm just kidding. But again, sport's been unreal. We'll see you next week.
Peace.